Alrighty. Did you guys need more time? Are you good? Or Shannon, did you need more time?
Let me just ask something that I just thought
Yeah, sure.
about. So when you walk into an organization and you start their financials, I mean, basically you just take a balance sheet, you take where they're currently at, you set them up, just like you would in QuickBooks. You go in and make an initial balance entry, and then off they go.
Correct. The main difference, and if you're talking to balance sheet entries, in Adilas, we don't use the word debit or credit, okay?
Right.
We use the word objects, okay? So you would technically create an object. Once you know where these objects are mapped to, all of a sudden you can play. So say I needed to put a whole bunch in revenue. I'm going to do an invoice for that amount with no cost, and I'm going to put what hey, this was a starting value, part number other, something like that. I'm going to do it. It automatically maps itself to the revenue portion of the system.
So you do it via an invoice.
Okay, the reason is because that's where it really kind of comes from. Like,
so it's an invoice on it.
There's multiple different ways that we could map things to, but like we would actually create that entire entity that actually says, now load this into the balance sheet. Now it basically knows how to run and play with it, okay? So say you had a whole bunch of cost of goods, you're like, I just need to put a whole bunch of cost of goods, like a blanket cost of goods in, okay? No problem. We're probably going to run that through an expense. We're going to map it specifically to a cost of good things, and I'm going to put a note. Hey, this is the starting balance for cost of goods. And all of a sudden, I just put revenue in, I just put cost of goods in. Like once you learn where some of these different pieces are, okay, you got a bunch of expenses, say you've run for months and months and months and months, and you're like, what are your current values right now? Well, I've got 30,000 in this, 30,000 in this, and 30. You would set up your categories, and then you would do an expense, one expense even. You'd be like, okay, I've got to wrap up X hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay, this is going to be my total, and then I'm going to map these little single line items to, here's my 10,000 for this, here's my 30,000 for my people or wages, or like whatever your categories are.
So then you're a plus and minus from that point, then basically.
Okay.
Do you ever do minuses?
Oh yeah. They're definitely.
But then it's basically, so debit and credit, the terminology, which I hate using those terms. Current students don't understand that because debit cards and credit cards have messed it up. So we use, increases and decreases left to right side anyway.
There are some places that we actually have some things that we say bump. You want to bump that up or bump it down?
Okay.
Okay. Like there are some places that we're kind of allowing you to do that kind of flex. But what happens is that because Adilas is so open, you basically say, hey, we're going to kind of like approach, and then we're going to kind of play from there. Okay.
I mean, and I didn't mean, I just got ahead of the game.
Yeah.
Because you'll answer those questions for me, I'm sure, as we walk through these.
Okay, so this is very important. If you know objects and data over time, and you can think in that way, we've already kind of set up some different pieces. It changes some rules, but yet we simulate double entry accounting that is actually clear back from the 1400s.
Yes. Have you found anybody having a difficult time leaving that mentality and going to what you're doing?
Some yes and some no, and it depends on the person, okay? If you have a traditional person that is used to doing paper and pencil T accounts and possibly multi-column ledger type stuff, they're a little bit like, where is it? It's all there. It's all there.
But that's the same fear we have even going to QuickBooks. They lose that exact grid, they lose the columns. It's happening in the background.
Yep. So some of the new people that are coming up that don't have hardly any experience at all, we're like, check this out. If you do an invoice, guess what happens? Automatically, any of your line items are mapping themselves to the P&L. Okay? If you do an invoice,
what is your checks and balances? Is that what the people, with debits and credits, there's always that check and balance all the time.
So
how do you explain your checks and balances to someone who's used to the old system?
Okay, so what we do is we pull it on a per daily basis, okay? So you can literally tell.
So you stress the fact that you're either in balance. It's like a cash drawer analysis.
It literally says, am I in balance? Right now,
because a teller at the end of the day has to account, and so I talk to my students about the teller balancing the till, the money versus K.
It's just-in-time calculations, and it will literally say, hey, you're out of balance by this much. And it shows you all of your different assets, your liabilities, your equity, all these different pieces. And this is the thing that makes it so different. In a traditional system, you have debits and credits on one side, and you have your operations just running hog wild on the other side. Well, when you mix them together and you do this, your operations leads and your accounting just follows, okay? And so it's literally a night and day difference. But what I'm trying to say is people who are brand new or just trying to learn stuff, I can show you stuff about accounting that you wouldn't have learned for 4 years in college because it's natural and it's natural flow. And so I don't know where it's going, I really don't. But the natural flow of it, oh, that makes sense. Like, just for instance, okay, watch this right here, okay? Customer comes in, start a shopping cart, do an invoice, okay? You pull a bunch of things out of your inventory. Technically, that's lowering your inventory right here, okay? But on your invoice, you now have something called revenue. You also have cost of goods. You also have a payment. Did they pay it? Yes or no? If they didn't, it's still kind of sitting here. Hey, I've got a bunch of cash that's sitting in my drawer.
So it's
the
just
whole
that
thing
instantaneous, which is what our brain thinks anyway.
Mhm.
Business owners think that way anyway. They have to. And there has to be some manager, somebody who puts that thinking together between the QuickBooks reports and what's happening real time in the store, in the retail, in the lumber yard, whatever.
Correct.
It's our people that are sitting behind doing QuickBooks that get that tunnel vision sometimes because they're not seeing how their numbers always, I mean, it's just, they don't see how this relates to the operational side of the business. And that's the part our employers always say, can you please train somebody so that when they're handling my money, they really are thinking out there because they'll be more accurate. They'll do better here if they look at the big picture instead of their little box. And you've just gone beyond that issue then.
Well, what we do is we kind of say, put it in there, let's centrally locate it, and it literally comes back to tracking it over time, okay? So instead of physically making those, oh, you were this way, you were this way, you were this way, we say, where were you at what checkpoint? And then we map back to it. So virtually on the fly, you tell me the date and I'll tell you what it was, instead of saying, oh, I had to do this entry, oh crap, now I had to, like, I don't want to do any of that, any of that, okay? So what we do is we run things across time. It's, the reason that we even started this way is because we didn't start accounting. Can I show you a secret? This is funny. You'll laugh your head off, okay? You know how you were like, where's my chart of accounts, right? Right. Well, watch this. We may not even have these permissions turned on yet.
Because I know I think I think big picture, because that's what I learned to think with the small business owner father.
Okay, correct. So what happens if you start from way up here, like in a business, you're literally saying, cart is in front of the horse. Why do you need to account for something? Because something happened, right? So if you let something happen and then you account for it, that changes the whole scenario versus like, I'm going to account for this, and literally the horse can be doing whatever he's wants, because you're like, hey, the horse is over here grazing, you're like, oh, he's over there. Like, but if you're here, you know exactly where that horse is going.
I just want to not one of those slow people to catch on.
No, you're doing good. So, are we okay? Madeline wants to jump into some financial stuff.
Oh,
are you okay with Mark? I know you said flex
I don't have any rights to the financial stuff.
Ah, I see
So
what
I'm
it is.
trying to do this search,
So,
and I don't even know what.
one of the things, if you're going to play in financial, you're going to need a ton of permissions. In training here, we've been like, oh, add a PO permission. Oh, add this. We need to probably get in there and say, okay, we're going to play a little deeper. Let's add some permissions. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do, and I'm going to recommend it for all of you guys, we're on day 3 of the training. Let's bust out some permissions a little bit more instead of kind of just. It's very nice if I can slowly show you, like, oh, you don't have that permission. You would technically be denied. We're going to basically say, I'm admin, I'm playing, and I'm playing hardball now.
Looks like all the specialty silver ones would work.
What's that?
All the silver permissions would work.
So some of them are negative permissions, okay? Just so you know that. Okay, so what we're going to do is let's go find ourselves. We're going to click down through it. What we're going to do is I hope that I'm not, it might take me a little bit to pop down through here so we all get the same permission, and I'm hoping not to do huge tangents, but this might be a good look at what are my permissions, okay? And actually take a little second. So what I did is I'm in my particular name, I'm going to scroll down, okay? We have a bunch of color codes. Basically, it goes from yellow all the way to red. If you ever see a burgundy or a black, those are permissions that are at the universe level, okay? Those are way, way high, upper admin or under construction, okay? Silver have some special stuff. We are not doing anything with stock units. We're going to skip those top two. We're going to make sure we have part numbers and barcodes and POs and invoices and expense receipts. We want deposits. We want quotes. Checks, we want to be able to start searching by checks. Recipe and bills, we're going to skip that for now. Flex grid, eventually we may come back to that. Okay, balance sheet items, you'll notice it changed colors. It's no longer green. It's like, oh, guess what? You just went up a little higher. We also may want to do customers, okay? I'm going to skip time. I'm going to skip VIN numbers and serial numbers, okay?
Okay.
The next section.
Customer, the vendor?
Yes, yes. We
Okay.
did vendors and customers.
Okay.
The next section is called System Basics. These are basic links. We probably already have a number of these that we already need. We're going to kind of start coming down. Here's how you manage your My Cart favorites. These other ones were kind of starting shopping cart stuff. Keep coming down.
Do we want these or?
Not right this minute, but once we get into admin type settings, you might want some of these things. But for right now, not for us. Okay?
More financial and flex group.
Yep. Go ahead and do customer logs.
Okay.
You'll notice once again a CW. So basically that says, hey, this could potentially be called patient logs or whatever, student logs even. Like for us, Madeline, you can track your students in here in a heartbeat. Anything that they do, their aptitude, their whatever, like piece of cake. Piece of cake, okay?
Since Atlas, since whatever gens of ours,
That's a
probably
way-
another year away. Yes, absolutely. I will play with that.
Yeah,
because I
it's
see that
Very,
you
very
say it
handy.
has that flexibility. That would
Okay.
be awesome.
So we call this CRM, which is Customer Relationship Management. And what it does is imagine you do like this. You're my customer and I call to talk to you. What if I recorded that? Like you have no clue, okay? What if I recorded the next thing? What if I did this? What if I did this? What if I put a follow-up
So there's
date?
no phone beat, but it still gets recorded.
Oh yeah, we have
You know what the trick is?
we haven't even played there yet, but
I have,
dream it up.
that is, thank you. I'm going to do that with
Okay, so
mine.
do we want,
Yep.
Because I have to document almost every transaction with students now, because I've got a lawsuit pending right now. And if I had not documented every single step, I'd be in the biggest, baddest of trouble. But it's hard to document on a piece of paper because I need to take that paper with me because I can't let anybody else see it. I don't want it in that person's phone. It's scary, right? We're in a scary world. I can do this for me,
Okay, Madeline,
Yeah.
look for just a second.
and it's all dated, correct?
It's all dated. It's all
So it's unchangeable.
It's all
which means
searchable. You can even
legally,
you
I
can even
print this
if
out.
you wrote somebody up a pink slip or whatever, like or whatever needed to happen, you've got a little scanner right here. So your big plate as a customer, okay, you can tie in how many logs did I do? Did I need any? They don't have any payments per se. It's gonna every single time you touch this customer, whether you're adding logs, it's gonna be dipping stuff into this little cup. If you needed to connect this student with another student, maybe they're either buddies or whoa, don't let these guys sit together. Like you can connect customer to customer, piece of cake. It's called Flex Grid. Sub-relationships, if there's other stuff like this little thing, this might be your friend as well, okay? What if you actually had them sign something? Hey, we talked about this, and just for documentation, I need you to sign this. And it's super simple. Like it could even be chicken scratches and then their signature. You go like this. Upload that to Joe, okay? And it's documented. Okay, you're done. Okay. Yep. There's lots of pieces there.
You've
So
got legal, you've got timestamps and dating, which is the question that always comes up, is did I modify that information?
there are other customers who are using Adilas, and it doesn't have anything to do with Adilas, but their businesses have actually been pulled into court, whatever they're doing, okay? And some of them have been marijuana businesses in Colorado, okay? Like, that instantly should say something to you. And what they do is they'll be like, it looks like you were selling such and such to so-and-so. And they go to Adilas and they say, here's my history, here's my documentation, here's my, and they have walked out squeaky clean, okay? Because it's all documented to the T, okay? I don't want to make it sound like Adilas goes to court, but basically they use Adilas as almost their virtual witness. They've even pulled in some of our team members as official witnesses who
We
can
talk about the time and dates.
run it and be like, okay, so what happened right here? What's going on? Like, you have an expert user who can actually, well, looks to me like this. Like, you don't know, you're just kind of reading these things, but you know how to bounce and jump. We've had a couple of our team members who have been called in as expert witnesses. It's kind of interesting. Not that I necessarily wanted to publicize that, but here we go. Okay,
So
I'm just going to...
Did you take the flow calculators or no?
Okay, you're ahead of me. You're doing great. So basically, we're going to click a bunch of these little yellows and greens. That's not a big deal. There's a loan calculator and a financial flow calculator. Madeline, you might have a blast with this one, okay? So if you're into financials, what it does is it literally says, let's mock up income statement and balance sheet, and I'm going to show you how things are going to roll automatically. It's kind of a mock-up thing. It's really fun.
Great worksheet to help non-accounting folks see. That's excellent.
I need that. That's a good one for me.
We're not going to worry about this view web inventory. That actually says, hey, we're going to leave Adilas and we're going to go to a moon of our planet, which is an outside. I'm going to show mine stuff, e-commerce, all that kind of stuff. That's a moon. We don't need that. Okay. Okay. Basic elements of time. We're going to skip time for now. This is a great section. We're going to skip basic. Okay. The section that I'm at is called System Time and Request. We're going to skip elements of time right now. Okay. Very, very powerful, but we might come back to it. Check request. We're going to skip this. The most important one for financials. Okay. Your corp user history. This is the one that we were playing with yesterday where I was like, how many of this did I have and how many of this? This basically sums
You will no
things
longer
up
hear
and
beeps
lets
until
you
someone
look at
else joins the conference.
Your effectual, your historical, and your financial histories, okay? Very important. We've got a couple of these other ones we were playing in inventory. It's great to have these checked. That's perfect. We're going to skip stock units. Okay, hang on a second. This next one is called system reports, just to kind of give you an idea, okay? We're going to skip some of the stock unit ones. And we're going to come down to sales and profit report. This deals with invoices. What's my cost of goods? What's my this? What's my profit? What am I making? It's a miniature P&L or a miniature income statement, okay? But it's just relating to the sales side of things. It doesn't show the expenses and some of the other pieces that factor into a real P&L. Running bank balances, yes, we want that. Income statement, yes, we want that. It's also known as a P&L or a profit and loss statement. Balance sheet, we want that. You'll notice that we're starting to get into pinks and reds, and okay, we're starting to get into some heavier permissions here. We want balance sheets. We probably want to be able to export and be able to search all sorts of stuff.
Well, what about the balance sheet items?
Yes, yes. Okay, so what this is this is basic, and this is admin, basically, okay? So if I have balance sheet permission turned on, but I don't have this one, I can see it, and I can look. But I can add and tweak and add subs and kind of do some cross-tying and such, okay? So we're going to scroll down to the very next section. This next section is system assets. We already have basic quotes, basic invoices, admin invoices. We're getting into recipes and bills. We're going to skip this. This is kind of how you get some of your kits in and out, yes or no? This is your transition invoices. This is your work in progresses, your different things. And depending on the company, some companies may never use this, and some companies may exclusively use this. Do I do tons of layaways? Am I doing my prepaid invoices? Am I doing my, this is where you would play in this area. We're not even going to play right now. It is a permission, okay? Basically, we're going to come down to the next one. We do not want to select this one. This is a negative one. It's a silver one, a specialty. Hide.
Which one are you on?
Where if you have this checked and you're trying to do admin stuff, you're shooting yourself in the foot, okay?
So mine had a check in that.
Okay, uncheck that one on that one, okay? And the reason that we set you up is originally what we wanted to do is kind of walk you through the process as if you were an employee of my company and you couldn't see some of these pieces, okay? That's great. We have advanced add to cart. That's great. We're going to skip the next couple, wholesale cart builder and the cross-corp sales. This actually starts saying, okay, world to world, and like you're starting to break business-to-business transactions, okay? Okay, these next ones, we're going to start wanting some of this. Basic deposits, sales deposits, admin deposits, basic receivables, admin receivables. We're going to skip reoccurring invoices. That's another feature. So say, for instance, you had storage units, or you're Adilas billing customers, or you're a consulting firm and you're doing a constant billing, no problem. Timeshares, anything like that. Those are all reoccurring stuff. Statements, this deals with customers. Let's go ahead and turn it on.
Yes.
Yep, go ahead and turn that on. We're going to skip the next couple. These deal with stock units. Add stocks to inventory. Look at older stock units. Manager's checkbook. This is slush fund stuff.
You want the checkbook?
No, we are not. I'm basically skipping a number of these right here. These are admin type things, but this allows you to add subs to stocks, okay? Am I internally ticketing? Am I doing this? Am I doing some of these different...
So all those red
Anything
ones
for
are.
Yeah.
stock is you're jumping over.
Okay, I'm jumping over it just because for our particular industry, that's a whole nother ball of wax, okay? So we're going to skip down to the next whole section, which is system liabilities. Now right here, we're going to have to turn on a bunch. You're going to need basic expense receipts. This is money's going out, okay? With this can help with cost of goods, it can help with payroll, it can help with just normal expenses, paying your customer refunds. Like, this is money going out of the bank, okay? Including paying people and such, vendors and payables and all that kind of stuff. So it doesn't include all of that. You just have to have this basic permission if it's even going to let you get to the point where you can say expense, talk to the bank, hook it to a vendor or an employee or a user,
Okay.
like how we're going to do it. Okay, we're going to do basic. We're going to do admin. We're coming down. We already played with some PO stuff. I have all of my PO features turned on. Basics, internal builds. We never even did one of those. Special POs. We talked about that yesterday. Purchase order admins. Yes, we wanted it. Basic payables and admin payables. These are the permissions. You're starting to, once again, get a little bit darker. You're like, okay, you're starting to get into admin stuff. So if I'm doing all of these POs, eventually what they do is they'll funnel themselves over to the payables until somebody actually goes through and pays for these POs. They'll sit in a little holding tank. This turns it on so that we can access that stuff. Floor plan is a stock unit feature. We're going to skip that. Manager's time clock, I'm going to skip that. I actually am turning mine off. I'm going to go ahead and leave these other ones applicable. We may or may not get into that, but they are kind of tied to that admin level here.
Payroll.
Yeah, time clock, payroll, and payroll.
Yep. Okay, then the next section deals with maintenance, okay? And this basically allows us to yes or no do things. You definitely want your photo management. Currently we have 7 of the 12 main players have photo galleries, okay? And eventually we're going to get the other 5 so that they have photo galleries as well. It's just it hasn't come up on our to-do list yet. But we already have it under parts and stock units and balance sheet items and invoices and expenses and POs. Those are the first places that kind of really felt like they needed major documentation, and customers. The other pieces that don't have it yet are users, which will be very, very handy, vendors, elements of time, and deposits. So those are the ones that don't really have it yet, but they're coming. They're coming. FlexGrid. I'm going to say yes for right now, okay? If you start getting into balance sheet stuff, you might need the ability to be like, okay, hold hands, connect yourselves. We may or may not, okay? But I'm going to turn those permissions on. I did both basic and admin. I'm coming down to customer permissions. We're going to definitely want to be able to deal with customers. We're coming down a little bit more. Admin also, yep, absolutely. What this does is it allows you to manipulate groupings and credit settings and all kinds of different things on customers, okay? We're going to add edit vendors. These next two, added expense types and deposit types, this is virtually like a chart of accounts on the expense side and a chart of accounts on the deposit side, okay?
So is that a yes?
Yes, so we definitely want those, yes and yes. I'm going to actually turn this one off. We just did it for a temporary thing. This is the global find and replace. I wouldn't recommend that you keep that one turned on. That's a put it in the closet and pull it out when you want it type permission,
So
okay?
all of the global stuff turn off?
No, not necessarily. These are some of your big markup tools and how you can change prices and that kind of stuff. That's not really what we're focused on right now. So we're going to leave it alone. There's one called Manage Web Inventory. We're going to leave that one off as well. What that deals with is actually controlling that moon. So your planet has your main stuff, but if you have a moon where you're going to do your e-commerce, this is actually moon control stuff where you're saying special settings, show, hide, change prices out on your moons, okay? Next thing we're going to come down is edit We're going to skip a couple. These are dealing with stock units, add edit models and makes. Go to the first purple one. We're going to say add edit bank. Yes,
We need bank.
we need banking. And we're going to leave these other ones assigned as well. Departments are tied to payroll and to users, and locations are tied to everything in the world. Okay, so yes, 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 all of those purple ones. Okay, we're going to scroll down. We're very close to done. We probably have just a couple more. We're now under system management. These two permissions right here are critical. So if you're ever playing, Madeline, you're like, I wonder if I take every permission off, how do I do this? Don't take these ones off if you ever want to change a permission, okay? Or a setting, okay?
So that would make it so that I.
You couldn't even change your own if you deleted these ones, okay? So these are literally these two permissions right here are the upper echelon of the world level,
So they're
okay?
way up.
Way up there at the world level. It's not universe level, but you're at the world level.
Red should tell me that though, right?
What's that?
The red should be, what should warn me?
Red is major admin, okay? Admin.
So system maintenance and system management, those are like up and up. Huh?
Usually. Sometimes you'll allow something, like the one right above this right here where we're on system maintenance, this also has like customers and photos and some of these little type of things, okay? They kind of just exist. But when you start getting into reds and purples and blues, make sure you're paying attention, okay? So the other thing that we're going to do for us is right here, one more red one, final posting for deposits and receipts. What that does is virtually it's a lock to anybody who has a lower permission. So say you gave somebody the availability to create a deposit. Hey, you're working, you're holding the money, I'm going to let you physically do the deposit, do it. But if I lock it, guess what? You're no longer going to be able to touch it. It backs it up multiple layers as far as who's playing. If it's just a mom and pop, it's kind of, why do I have to have that? It's built for this whole, the whole gradient of the levels of people, okay? So we're going to just have these last three, boom, boom, and boom. These other two deal with stock units. So we turned on a ton of permission.
Just the first three.
Just the first three, right?
Okay,
First three that are-
what I'm going to do just really fast, just to show you, okay? This is in a different entity. Before I hit submit on my page, I just want to show you something, okay? I'm going to just open up a little chooser here in another window. This is just for a small demo of what's going to go on, okay?
So we're not in trouble if we already get in.
You're fine, you're fine. I just wanted to show you. Okay, so this particular page is called My Favorite. See how it has tons of grayed out buttons? As far as like which pieces I have, which pieces I don't have. Okay, what I want you to see is when I actually submit my page, I want you to see what's going to happen to this particular page, okay? Submit, I submitted for Brandon, and it's going in the background trying to think. I'm like, ugh. Sometimes that's just internet traffic, and sometimes it's actually just like a stoplight at the server.
I just went. You're just hiccuping.
If mine hiccups, then what I do is I usually will stop it, and I'll be like, you know what, submit again, and I'll see if it'll go faster for me. Okay, so I just updated my permissions, okay? So watch this. Window. I'm going to switch my window, and I'm going to hit refresh on this page, okay? You can see how a bunch of them are grayed out. If I hit refresh, okay, I have tons more permissions.
So that reflects what you have available to yourself.
Correct, correct. And so this was found through the chooser. We've been mostly playing in the map.
Well, I was looking at my favorites yesterday. But
So you have to refresh for that.
Well, just, you know what, all you have to do is just browse to it. And it,
just browse to it.
the other thing that I want you to know that happened is on the the classic homepage. Look at this. All of a sudden I have tons of options. I can search balance sheets. I can search, you know, my customers. Over here I have all sorts of little links to income statements, balance sheets, advanced, banks.
Most of your folks choose that classic homepage.
You know what?
Is that what you would recommend?
The classic homepage was our interface for about 6 years as we were kind of building this. It was only this last year, probably about Christmas time of 2012, that we actually even added any of these other choosers. And you'd be surprised, like I'm only showing you a couple of them here. There's already tons of them that are out there, like little custom miniature interfaces. We have 3 that we give you standard: classic, my favorites, interactive map. The classic is done. It just is what it is, okay? It's just kind of that way. The my favorites is under construction. So this one right here, eventually we're going to allow you to kind of dictate what you want the buttons and where you want to point it, okay? This is going to be pretty cool, okay? The other one that's under construction right now is the interactive map. Right now this is just a graphic with some little buttons that are overlaid, but we've been clicking on it tons and tons. So it's kind of like imagine a road that's under construction, but you can still drive on it. There's just some small potholes. Eventually what we want, the interactive map is going to actually interact with you, okay? So if you click on something, it's like, here's your options. What do you want?
Isn't that what we've been using? Is that?
It is.
Uh-huh. So it's just a dirt road right now, but eventually we're going to get that thing paved, okay?
Well, it's good. And then you have others that are theoretically been kind of customized.
Oh, yeah.
for certain-
Yep.
Excellent.
So we can customize them depending on the industry and depending on what they're doing in that industry. They can have their own little special interfaces.